What's going on, everybody? Greetings from the world famous Appalachian Trail, and it is January 5th 2020, and it was 12 years ago today that my best friend Garvey here was born. So we thought we'd come out for a birthday hike and camp out, and we're almost to our campsite. I think there's enough light that we can actually show you how we set everything up this time. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is set up the stove pipe and the stove, and then I'm going to set up the tent pretty much in the same spot that I did last time we camped up here. But I'm going to kind of configure it a little bit different than I did before. Put the door in a different spot and the stove in a different spot also. Let's set up the stove, and then we're going to have to cut ourselves a tent pole. Probably cut some tent stakes as well. And I'll show you how I'm going to do all that right now. Okay, so I've got my stove and my chimney pretty much assembled, so it's time for me to go cut a center post for my tent, and I'm probably going to cut at least 4 stakes also. So we're going to do that. Garvey is raring to play here. It's his birthday, so he just wants to have fun, and I don't blame him. I do too. So in between sawing our center post and throwing this ball, we're going to get back to you in just a second. So I'm seeing a real nice candidate right here for a center post. I like that there are a lot of branches on there that I can hang things from. I have this piece of string right here, which is the exact length that my center post needs to be, so there's no guessing when I cut it. Okay, I've looped my string right about there, and I'm just going to pull it down to the end here fairly tight, and wherever my string ends up is where I'm going to want to cut. So yeah, right about here, I'm going to put the camera down, saw this pole, and I'll be right back. Looks good. Now I just have to saw this end. Okay, so I have a pretty nice center pole cut, and I'm just going to use the stakes that came with the tent to set it up. And once I get it pitched, I'll go ahead and make some more permanent stakes. Well, this is home for the night. Got a little bit of sunlight left. It's a little bit cold. We probably ought to get the stove going before the sun goes down. But I know Garvey's priority is to play as much ball as possible before the sun goes down, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we just lit the stove. We'll let it prime and get a little bit warm. We'll add some more wood to it, and then we'll go get some water. Ooh, check out Garvey's birthday present, everybody. It's a bone, and he's real excited about it. Okay, that fire's starting to look semi-official now. This is so much better than sitting at home in front of the television. Okay, the stove is on, but it's choked down a little bit. And we're gonna go get some water. Okay, I've got an Nalgene, a scooping cup, and also a 5-liter dromedary bag. And we're gonna head down and get water. Get it over with before it gets too dark. Hopefully there's water down here. I'm just banking that there is. We've had a lot of rain, so that's good. And it was running last time we were down here, so I'm hoping that it still will be. I can't really see if it's running because last time there was snow down here. I think we'll find some water. Well, I don't see anything. So what that means is we're going to have to walk just a little bit further down here, and hopefully there's water coming out of the pipe, because all I brought was one Nalgene full, and that won't be enough to get us through the night. You can definitely have some no-cook food, however it's definitely not enough drinking water. It's not good. So hopefully a little further down the line here, I can locate the PVC pipe that's down here. And maybe we'll get lucky and there will be a little bit of water coming out of it. I'm surprised there isn't any, not even puddles down here. Without water, we'll be cutting our trip short. I'm thinking the pipe should have been way up there somewhere, but find us some water, Garvey. Oh, there we go. There's the pipe. And there's the spring. Okay. And Garvey knows to drink way downstream of where we fill up at. Okay, awesome. Well, this is good news. We're going to fill up and head back up to the tent. Okay, so we have this bag pretty much full. We've got an Nalgene full, and we're going to head way back up the hill there. It's a brutal climb back up, as usual. And we're back at the fire pit. It's D-Town down there. Almost looks like fireflies. Whew. Okay, and we're back. Whew. Garvey's happy to be back too. Let's get something to eat. I have an appetite now. stove seems to be out, but I believe there's coals in there, so that won't take long to rekindle. And Happy Boy over here is making himself comfortable on the sleeping bag. Okay, so I have some water, which is boiling, and I also have this soup, which is steakhouse cheddar broccoli potato. And that actually smells really good. It's nice to have something to rake the coals with, kind of bring them forward. And sometimes that's all it takes just to stoke it up. And this guy over here has had a big day. Lots of ball chasing, chewing on his bone. Got a little bit of hiking in. And it's about 70 degrees in here. I'll take it. We're gonna add some pepper. I'm really liking this soup. For me at least, soup really hits the spot on a cold night like this. And this isn't bad at all. Cheddar broccoli. I'll have to remember this. Okay, so we have some candle lanterns going. The stove is nice and hot. Got Garvey back there, enjoying the rest of his birthday. And it's been a pretty good day. It is about 80 degrees in here the last time I checked the thermometer. Yeah, I just can't imagine coming out in the winter without this hot tent, without this stove. I mean, it's that much of a game changer, really. Yeah, I mean, I want to come out in the winter now, whereas before I had to talk myself into it. So I'm glad it's worked out well. I'm glad this Appalachian stove actually works. Anyway, we're going to turn in for the night, and we'll see you at breakfast. Good night. Good morning. And it looks like it is a beautiful sunny morning. There we go. You can see a little bit of sunshine on the tent. The sun is coming up over the ridge. The stove is nice and hot. So yeah, yesterday was a really good day. I think Garvey enjoyed himself. He's still kind of recovering over there. There he is. That's okay. He could sleep in. It's our day off. We don't have anywhere to be. And if we want to, we have enough food to where we could actually walk 10 miles down to Appalachian Gap if we wanted to. And camp down there. A little different scenery. And we might. Who knows? Wow, that's just beautiful. The way the shadows from the twigs outside are shining on the tent. I love it. And I love this tent. Yeah, this is, last night was night number 4. And, yeah, this is everything that I want in a winter tent right here. With this stove, in combination with this tent,
This is great. This is getting me outside in the winter, which was the whole purpose of me making that stove and getting this set up. Otherwise, I probably would have had to talk myself into coming out. And I can stay warm. I mean, there's ways to stay warm in the winter. Like, you definitely have to have a warm sleeping bag, without a doubt. Don't skimp on the sleeping bag at all. Because if nothing else, you get freezing cold while you're walking during the day. At least at the end of the day, you can get into your shelter and hop in that warm sleeping bag and know you're not going to be cold. Another thing you can do, which I used to do a lot, is put hot water in a water bottle. Helps if you have a good strong one. I have put hot water in cheap water bottles before, but you really have to be careful that the water's not too hot or it will distort the bottle. The steam will just kind of blow it out of shape. But yeah, putting hot water in a bottle like this, making very, very sure that the lid is on tight, of course, and putting this in your sleeping bag at night, yeah, it's great. It's like having a heating pad almost. And it can warm your sleeping bag up too. If you put this in your sleeping bag several minutes before you get inside, when you get inside your sleeping bag, you're gonna have a nice warm one. So I think I'm gonna finish my coffee, kind of just sit back and enjoy the sunshine coming through the tent here. Yeah. And Garvey looks like he's in no hurry to get up. He ate a little bit of his breakfast, not all of it. He had a huge dinner last night and he ate pretty much all of it. So that's good. Anyway, we're gonna need some more wood as well. So after coffee, before we can start any breakfast, I'm gonna have to at least cut up some wood and maybe split a little. Gotta find this locust splits. That must make a toothpick. We'll get this drying out. Put a nice pile of it right next to the stove, and when we need to rekindle, we can just throw that small stuff on top of the coals and it'll fire right back up. That's pretty incredible. I'm liking it. It's always fun when you don't have to fight your wood. And for a little $27 axe, or hatchet rather, this isn't bad. I guess it's the Fisker's newest version of the X7, made in Finland. Anyway, for the money, it's great. I mean, all you hatchet purists out there are probably going to cry about it because it doesn't have a wooden handle. But you know what? There's nothing to maintain on this thing. And if it breaks, it's 27 bucks. And I can beat on it, baton with it if I need to. And when I have wood like this, I really don't have to beat on it. I mean, I'm just shaving off splinters here. Nice. Yeah, it's they're fairly sharp. I mean, it works well for everything that I need it to do. I mean, if I was building a cabin by hand, I might get something a little better. But hey, I'm happy with it. It's it's working. It's split my wood, and that's what it's supposed to do. So that's all I really care about. So I've been chopping wood all morning. There's a big old locust log that's been down for about, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And it's on a slant, so all the water's dripping off it. And that's what you saw me chopping up earlier. And this is what we came up with. I got it all drying. I'll probably chop some more, get us through the night. We are going to stay a second night here. I thought briefly about maybe walking further down the trail, but that's as far as it got, a brief thought. Garvey's been enjoying hanging out here outside. He's been laying out in the sunshine and chewing on his bone, just kind of hanging out. So I've been doing the same thing, except for cutting the wood. I've basically been lazy. I never did make breakfast, and it's a little bit after lunchtime. But I do have a second cup of coffee boiling there. Water for coffee boiling, anyway. And I think what I'm going to do for lunch is make some grilled ham and Swiss. Okay, I've got this nice loaf of bread here. I'm going to use it to make some sandwiches. Okay, so I found out the hard way that the handle on this frying pan here is basically garbage. If you don't squeeze it, thoroughly squeeze it, when you pick up that frying pan, it's going to fold. And the frying pan's going to go meow, just like a hinge. And everything's going to spill out. And you're going to burn a hole in your ground sheet or the tent bottom, or hopefully you're not cooking in a tent, but if you are, keep in mind that if you have a handle that has this design, you must squeeze it very tightly when you pick it up. And it's easy to forget to do that. Well, that doesn't look too bad considering all the mishaps, especially when I do that. There you go. That's selling the dream right there. What else do you really need? What else do we really need, Garv? Okay, I'd say it's lunchtime. Okay, so we have a bit more wood. Hopefully that'll last us through the night. Fire's going, stove's nice and hot. And I think for dinner we're going to have German potato salad and possibly some more of that bread. We're probably going to go ahead and start on that in another hour or so. I think I'm going to have to go down to the spring and get more water, believe it or not. The whole 5-liter MSR dromedary bag, I probably have maybe a quart left out of that whole thing. Plus I had an Nalgene bottle full. So probably ought to do that before it gets dark. It'll make it a lot easier. Okay, so if my memory serves me correctly, there is a less steep way down to the spring. And years ago, my buddy Bill Drat actually marked the trail with reflective thumbtacks. However, I don't remember which tree the first one was on. And it's not dark, so reflective thumbtacks really aren't going to help in this situation. I didn't see any last night. I kind of shone my light around. I didn't really make a huge effort. But anyway, yeah, I think this is going to be steep no matter which way you go down. And it's kind of overgrown because nobody ever goes down here. I think I see the faint traces of a path. We never really did blaze a path down here, but we did kind of move some of the debris out of the way. Anyway, long story short, it's a long way down. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, the spring. Okay. I got about half a bag. That's gonna have to do. Because I don't feel like carrying any more than that back up this hill. Whew. Even with half the amount of water, that's still a workout. I'm warm now. I bet it's about 85 in the tent. Let's go check the thermometer. Whew, yeah. Well, close. It's about 80. You can see the steam coming off the wood. It's really drying out. Okay, I think it's time for some German potato salad. And I'm going to heat it up in that pot. Okay, so I just checked the weather forecast. I probably should have done that earlier because it's dark now. So I guess around 4 or 5 in the morning it's supposed to start snowing and continue on, I guess, through the afternoon tomorrow. But most of the snowfall is supposed to be between 4 and 7. Which means I probably still don't have enough wood. You can never have enough wood, and you can never have too much. So whenever you think you have enough, double it, and then double it again. Fortunately, there's still a lot of that locust log that I was chopping up earlier. I just have to go ahead and cut a couple pieces off it. And I might as well put the headlamp on and go ahead and get it over with right now. Well, it's much later now. We got all the wood we're gonna get. So we're gonna call it a night. We'll see what happens in the morning and we'll catch you then. Well, good morning. It's about 6 o'clock. So far, no snow, just rain. And I don't think it's freezing rain. Just sounds like regular rain. Had a few raindrops come down the flue and hit the damper, sizzle out, just like that. So walking out of here would be a mess right now, and we're in no hurry. So I think we're going to hang out, enjoy the sound of this rain, and I hope at some point that this turns into snow. It's really not looking like it on the radar, but better snow than freezing rain or ice. Yeah, if this turned into flurries, I would not be opposed to that at all. It is just after 10 o'clock and it just stopped raining about 10 minutes ago. Never turned to snow. Finally just got the stove started. I woke up about 4 in the morning and started it up and had it nice and hot and then fell asleep again. And that's the thing, if you fall asleep, you aren't constantly feeding it, it'll go out. Okay, for breakfast this morning, we're having oatmeal, and I have glazed walnuts, which are actually pretty good, and cranberries. Hopefully that's enough water. It's smelling really good. I think it's probably a combination of the candied walnuts and the dried cranberries. But yeah, it smells really good, and if it tastes half as good as it smells, it's going to be a great breakfast. And I don't know what it is, but to me, food just seems to taste better when it's cooked over a wood stove. So I think the nasty weather's pretty much gone. I looked on the radar, there's not a whole lot behind what just moved out of here. In fact, there's nothing. The sun's actually starting to come out. So much for the big snowstorm. So I'll probably just hang out until that wood is gone. And in the meantime, I think we'll just sip on some coffee and pack up.